Good evening and welcome to the December edition of Curriculum Connection. I'm Medford's Curriculum Director, Laura Lundy. Along with the new Common Core standards comes a new common assessment called the Smarter Balanced Assessment. This test will be replacing the current WKCE Wisconsin State Test in grades 3 through 8 in the spring of 2015. A lot has changed in the testing world in the last 10 years, namely the advent of new technology. Because of new smarter technology, computers can now assess students' levels of listening, writing, and to a better degree, their thinking. In a side-by-side comparison of the WKCE and the Smarter Balanced Assessment, there are some main differences. Number 1, because the WKCE was a paper-pencil test, it could only assess students' understanding of grade-level material on a predetermined set of questions. Because the new Smarter Balanced Assessment is computer-based, it can be adaptive, drawing from a large bank of questions from multiple grade levels, resulting in a more accurate picture of a child's knowledge and skills. One advantage of having the new testing completely online will be the increased turnaround time for the results. The WKCE now takes approximately 5 months to return the scores, whereas the Smarter Balanced Assessments will give results almost instantaneously. Number 2, the types of questions on the new Smarter Balanced Assessment are deeper level questions. 6th grade teacher Jake Bucky explains.
The biggest difference that I noticed was the constructed response, where students aren't just selecting a response A, B, C, or D. It's coming up with their own response and then also explaining why to kind of assess their level of understanding.
Well, it's much more multi-step. It's not just here's your problem, you solve it. And in addition to that, it's also their explanations. So how are they getting the answer? Maybe they might do the computation wrong, but if they have a good explanation or can show it in multiple ways, it's a lot more modeling, just a lot more thinking. We're not just computing anymore, we are doing math.
Between the two, the Smarter Balanced one is much more difficult, and the reason for that is that there's a lot more writing, and they're now getting to where they have to do a lot more of citing evidence, where the WKCE really didn't have a real lot of that before.
The Smarter Balanced test can now assess the skill of listening. Students will be required to listen to a passage without seeing it and then answer questions about that passage.
A Garden for a Roof by Mary Holgate. Imagine a house that hides beneath trees, grass, and flowers. It may sound like a fairy tale, but
having a completely computer-based test will create some challenges. According to 5th grade teacher Fern Brown, the change from paper to computer may skew the results for students who are not ready for the technology.
Well, I actually took the 5th grade version of the Smarter Balanced test, and the thing that impressed me most about it was that a student could know the right answers to everything, but if they couldn't manipulate the technology, they might not ever get them right.
Students will now be required to type their thoughts directly from their heads into the computer. 2nd grade teacher Margot Sweetland explains why that may present a challenge.
I was really shocked at the variety of technology requirements that were a part of that test, whether it was having to type or read something off of the computer and then respond. The one that really got me thinking, oh my goodness, what are we going to do is in 3rd grade my kiddos are going to have to type a response to something that they haven't spent time thinking about or rehearsing in their writing or even just trying to get it typed out. In 2nd grade we have we've taken work and we have written it out, and then we spend about a week's time typing it in the computer lab, learning about editing and how that all works. And this test is going to ask the kids to do it on the spot.
To prepare students for these changes, teachers have been working on providing their students as many opportunities to practice skills like writing and citing evidence while using computers.
I thought, what can I do that would help prepare them for that? And I came up with this idea with the Edmodo program Mrs. Hainel's been using for getting math ideas across. What if I put in a response and have the kids write to it? Then they see the question, they have a chance to talk off the top of their head, but they get to practice that typing. So every week now, I have been posting a question for students to answer, and all 2nd grade kids are having a chance to respond to it. Starting out very simple as, what is your favorite color, but as it goes on, we're going to start adding a little bit more meat or detail to what they're reading and then to have a response to it.
We're doing a lot more assignments or lessons that involve citing evidence. One of the really nice things that you can do for citing evidence is Achieve. The big problem that we have is we don't have access to a lot of computers where we can all do it at the same time. I'm able to collect a lot of iPads from different places, and I can get my kids all going on one Achieve lesson, but it's a difficult thing to do. It's hard to gather that up, and sometimes I even farm kids out to different classrooms to do that, whereas if all the kids had something, it would be something that everyone could do, and it would be, I think, a very effective thing for citing evidence.
We're looking at sometimes a model, and the students are coming up with what the problem could be, or they're writing equations based on the model. We're also are using Moby Math, a computer program, which we didn't start using this to prepare for the Smarter Balance. It's a great program that fills in gaps that the students have, but it gives them experience doing things on the computer. There's like a scratch pad right on there, so they can, instead of using paper and pencil, they can work their things out. So it's just a lot more getting comfortable with doing things on a computer.
I know in 6th grade specifically, we're doing a lot of explaining why. Not just finding the answer, but also explaining how you did it, and then explaining your answer more in depth. How did you get to it, and then what does your answer mean? Not just finding it, but what does it mean?
Another challenge is finding time and computer availability to teach students to type. Although the new assessments are not timed, students who are efficient typers can put their ideas in a lot faster than those that are not.
Go ahead. I think not having the technology is a huge deficit for our kids. We're giving them all the right type, but that's for like, what, 1/4? Maybe 6 weeks, maybe 9 weeks of keyboarding. But that's still not, you know, click and drag and move this and move that, which is what you need to do in the test.
Well, it'll help them maybe type a little faster, but again, we're going to run out of time, I think, on the Smarter Balance test. There's just, they're not ready yet. And we're going to work on that this next, starting in January. 6 to 9 weeks keyboarding is about all we have.
I know when I first set them up with that Edmodo, I had to sit with each one individually and explain the different parts of the keyboard and how to use it in a Word document. They can get around in all the games, but that Word document really wasn't different. So it was a one-on-one direction.
Last summer, sample Smarter Balanced assessments went online for the public to see. The practice tests are divided into 4 parts: a short answer multiple choice section and a performance task for both math and English language arts. If you would like to review the content and style of the new testing, go to www.smarterbalance.org, click on Explore the Smarter Balanced Practice Tests link, then scroll down and click on the green box. After you click on Sign In, follow the prompts until the test appears. One warning, because these are practice tests, you will not receive a score at the end. So happy holidays, happy testing, and for Curriculum Connection, I'm Laura Lundy.